everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to do a little exploration of color and show you how I create skin tones or colors that I would enjoy using for a particular project. In this case it's going to be a face illustration, and I will probably do the face illustration in a separate video, but today we're going to focus on watercolor mixing. And what you will need for that is 3 colors of your choice. Now it could be, like I said, apply this theory to your own sort of working space and the type of project that you will be creating, but in my case I will be focusing on Caucasian skin tone, and therefore actually I might even go a little bit darker today, we'll see. So I haven't mixed these colors previously, I don't know exactly what will happen, and this type of exercise is so helpful for exactly that. So yes, pick 3 colors of your choice. It could be any of the traditional colors, so your typical yellow, red, blue of any tone or any kind of dimension. It could be granulating, it could be opaque, it could be transparent. In fact, you could even apply this to other mediums like liquid watercolors or perhaps acrylic inks or maybe even gouache paints. Not sure how this would work with acrylic paints because of the viscosity of the paint. Obviously we want to create these kind of watercolory swatches and mixes here, so play around, see what you would prefer to use instead. So that's what I'm going to do. You will need some sort of a mixing little dish. I'm using my own, and it should be still available on my Etsy. I'm not entirely sure. It comes, you can buy them either separately like this or as a little set with the brush rest, which comes in quite handy. You will need an ink of your choice. Now my choice is a very light ink. This is Distress ink by Tim Holtz and the color is Tattered Rose. I have tried all different inks, which can be fun to change it up sometimes, but this one is the most user-friendly. It's easy to clean up, it's easy to use, it's easy to line over, and it just works for the style that I do. Now I will warn you that my style is slightly different to a traditional stamping. I don't stamp with black ink, although you can do that to simplify your process and make things a lot faster and quicker. But what I like about stamping images is that I use them as a base, as a helping starting point, and then sort of draw over the lines myself to create a more sketchier, a more illustrative look and style to them, so that it ends up looking like a nice little finished illustration rather than just a stamped generic image. But if that's what you're into and you like things nice and fast, then you can totally do it. I will show you my process and you feel free to try it out or do your own thing. And then of course I'm going to use my color theory. So these, if you're new to this channel, these just have been launched. I don't know if they're still available on my Etsy, Alyona Creates, but this is one of the 2 stamp sets that I have launched. Here is the moving doll, which is just the face from this stamp set, but you can totally create a moving body shape or pose, whatever you fancy doing them. You can dress them up as well, so there is a tutorial that I will be filming for that as well. And for now, let's just focus on the color theory. So what I have here is 7 individual parts, and today I am just going to use these 2. So these are realistically sized half pan and full pan, which you can use to stamp your swatch cards. If you buy like a nice palette and you have 24, 36 colors, you can then quickly stamp them and swatch them and label them, and everything will look super neat and nice and perfect, and you won't end up with this situation, you know, when we're doing swatches, somehow we start with a nice swatch and then it just goes wonky, it goes bigger, it goes to one side. By the end you spend so much time swatching 36 colors that it just doesn't look great. And I am a neat freak, I said this many times before openly, so I like things to be nice, precise, and just, you know, kind of strive for the perfection most times. Anyway, so that kind of takes off that stress level and just creates nice looking little sections for you that you know you can stay within the lines and create these beautiful little swatches. But on that we will probably do, like, I'll show you how I do that another time. Today, just these two. I'm going to use the color wheel and I'm going to use this 5-sectioned swatches little stamp. So I'm going to start on a new paper. This is a Jackson's. I'll try to leave everything that I'm using down below so you can check it out, but this is the Jackson's what is this one? Watercolor paper. This is 35% cotton, 160 GSM, and I really like it. This is my second one, and I stocked up. I think I have another new one. And let's start. So I will start with the color wheel and show you exactly the process. So, like I said before, I have picked 3 colors. So I have picked 3 colors, and those colors could be of any sort. So here's what I'm doing. In this place you could be just basically using a black ink and done, you know. I like to take time. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see that you could rotate the color wheel any sort of level that you want. I'm going to focus so that I have a triangle at the top, triangle on each side like that, roughly. It doesn't have to be precise. And I'm just going to stamp it. And that is my helping starting point. So from this point I could leave it like that if I really didn't want to pay any attention to the lines here and I just wanted to have all the attention on the colors. But I actually prefer this sketchier, fine line kind of look. And so what I'm going to do now, and this of course takes a bit more time than just stamping it with black ink and that's it, but you know, for me it's worth it. For me this is the part, like a playing part before I start the actual illustration. Also I like to keep things clean, and so that no dust or anything gets stuck to the stamps, I try to sandwich them between these little sheets of plasticky paper that they come with. That way nothing gets stuck, because once they get built up with dust and things, they stick less, so you need to wash them, you need to dry them. To avoid doing that, just keep them clean. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just really simply line out, and at this point, honestly, I think the wonkier the line, the better, because I already have my shapes. You know, I'm not going to go and create a super off-centered circle, because the circle is already for me there. And so that's literally all that I am doing. A bit of, you know, wonkiness, I'm absolutely fine with that. And use an ink that is waterproof. If you're not sure, then do a little test run on the side somewhere where you can draw a line, give it, you know, 30 seconds to dry if it's not a too thick line, and see if you can add some water and whether the ink will move. Sometimes the ink will move ever so slightly, which is still okay. Sometimes it really bleeds with water, so you know it's not waterproof, and it will make a lot of mess because you don't want to start adding black ink from your pen to your beautiful watercolors. That will dull down the colors immediately, and you know the whole purpose of this sort of swatching pleasure is to have beautiful colors. So then final one is 3, so you will notice that there are 3 sections to my color wheel. Now you could minimize some of the lines, and you could actually avoid lining them out, the middle ones. So for that you would need a light ink, and you could just have these sections, like one whole section, and just do a gradient, like a continuous gradient without separating. Or you could do just, you know, skip one of the lines if you wanted to. So that is that. And then I'm going to start with my 3 colors. So as per usual, I kind of do what makes sense. To me, yellow still goes at the top, so the lightest color go at the top, and then I go clockwise. Next color would be the red, and then the darkest out of them would be my beloved Rembrandt Burnt Sienna. So those are the 3 colors that I'm picking, and I'm going to start by swatching them. So these 2 colors are new to me. I bought them recently, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They might be, both of them might be from 2017 release, but here is the transparent red deep, and there is Turner's yellow. So there is a whole video coming up that you will see these colors in. It might be already up actually, that video. So if it is, I'll try to link it up somewhere. Okay, so Turner's yellow. So the way I do it is the 3 colors that we have picked here are my primary colors. And what that means is that when you mix these colors amongst each other, you get secondary colors. Now, in the area where I've done the yellow, I'm going to wash my brush and add more water to it and create a lighter version. So we have less pigment, more water ratio, and that will allow us to kind of study the color a little bit more and understand what it looks like when it's at its palest. And we're not using white here, we're using water as our lightening agent. You could do the same thing with white actually. A while ago I was playing with white gouache, adding it to my watercolors and creating different colors, pastel colors, so that was a lot of fun as well, but it just takes a lot more time. So if you wanted to do that, you could do it. Today we're just going to use the water. Then I'm going to move on to the transparent red deep, which is a super beautiful color. I'm so glad that I have added it to my stash. It's a beautiful blush and lip color. Super, super vibrant, and it's just so beautifully creamy. The consistency, I mean, there's just something about Schmincke that is, you know, I have personally not come across a color that hasn't been reliable or unpredictable. They are just beautiful. So again, adding more water, and you'll see what sort of light pink you can get with this color, which is really, really pretty. Not all colors behave the same way when you add more water to them. some colors can really surprise you. So that's that. Because I don't want to waste these colors, I'm just going to mix them together and create the secondary color. So look, because Turner's yellow is an opaque color, we're getting this beautiful terracotta orange. It's gorgeous. Again, washing out the brush, adding more water, and again, tiny little bit of pigment from the side of it, and we get this lovely peach. Started running into the yellow, so what you can do when you do a little bit of a mistake, just dry the paper there so they don't touch anymore. Kind of just use pressure with a tissue, and that way they will stop merging. Okay, so that's that. I mean, that is really pretty. I kind of don't want to waste this, so I'm thinking, currently I'm out of large sketchbook, and therefore that is so beautiful, isn't it? I don't have space to basically create swatches. Sorry, I'm just kind of so into it. I forget to speak. So I'm just going to play around here. These new colors. This is my botanical journal, so it's quite useful because these are also great floral colors. So I'm just using some of them up, and I will write down what colors went into this, and that way at least I could do a little floral illustration at some point. I just wanted to show you how beautifully they have separated a little bit. Here you can see the colors. So pretty, beautiful colors. I mean, these are gorgeous blush colors. Okay, so that was those two colors. Actually, they're doing some lovely separation on this paper too. And now I'm going to move to Rembrandt dark burnt sienna rather, and this color, of course, I will need now to mix with the red and then later with the yellow. So I'm just going to create a creamy puddle. First we're doing the darkest swatch, and then I'm going to add a bit more water, like so. Of course, burnt sienna is a great color as it is. When you use a bit of water, or at its darkest, it's a great skin tone color. But if you wanted to add your touch to the color, it's always a good idea to mix two colors. A bit of watercolor magic happens and it is sometimes really surprising how gorgeous it can be. So now we're going to mix the two together. Wow. Now that is stunning. I would probably add a bit more of the burnt sienna to it, because the red is so strong that it's leaning more towards the red, and you sort of want to create a mix that is in between, ideally, but it doesn't have to be. You create color that you like. So I think this is an interesting one. This is a really beautiful color. It kind of has like a glow to it. Also, it's a little bit muted, but not deadly muted. It's kind of beautiful. I'm trying to get the lightest. This red is so strong. Okay, that is pretty. So you can see mixed with that color, it's not pink anymore, it's more of a red. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous color.